Morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's make our way back to our mats and come together for our Vichara Yoga Sadhana. Good morning, all. So, making our way towards our mats this morning. Let's find our way down into seated just to start for a few moments here. So, bring your body into any cross-legged position, or if you need to keep the legs out in front to stay here seated, you can also do that. And of course, if you want to follow along on a chair, if sitting on the floor isn't possible for you, then you can always do that. Really want to welcome you to come as you are. Good morning, everyone. So finding our way here. This morning's Vichara Yoga Sadhana, similar to what we just explored today in our meditation, it's really devoted to a recognition of Purnima, a recognition of the full moon, this time of full moon. And as I was sharing with you a few moments ago, the full moon is really related to the water energy. And so that water energy in our system, when it's flowing harmoniously, then also this time of full moon can flow harmoniously. But when that water energy within us might be a little bit murky, this is the energy especially that corresponds to Swadhisthana chakra, to the second chakra, which connects to our social connections, our creativity, our sexuality as well. So when this area is purified and nourished well and balanced, and there's a harmony here, then during this time of full moon, we can notice that our creativity is full. Our sexual fervor might also be full, but in its creative appetite as well. We can notice that our social connections are also full and alive and flowing. We'll just generally notice that the water energy in all of its creation seems to be full and balanced. But if this energy is not so harmonious in our system, then we might notice that it leads to a little bit of chaos or drowning or feeling like we're sloshing all over the place, literally. We'll use these expressions, feeling excessively watery in that tears might be coming, or we just feel like we're pulled in all directions by this water energy. And generally that things are sticking. We're getting a little bit sticky. It can become this sticky energy rather than flowing, we could say. So this morning's practice will really be devoted to Purnima, devoted to a reverence of the full moon and all of her beauty and that fullness of the water energy, and how we can keep that energy flowing and really moving at this time. During this time, I really love to do a practice that also opens and brings balance to Swadhisthana chakra, to the second chakra in the area of the pelvis, but also at the same time bringing strength and focus from the mind, from Agya chakra, from the higher mind. So we're actually going to do a sadhana this morning that's combining both. So let's bring hands to heart, and we'll start here with a prayer. Let the hands rest at the heart center, and you can repeat after me as we begin our time together with the Shanti Pata, with this beautiful prayer that really asks, may the entirety of this space within us and between us be one pervaded by peace, by harmony, without discord. Repeating after me. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahana Vonaktu. Saha Viriyam Karavavahe. Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And then staying here for a moment or two as we connect into our sankalpa, our sacred intention for this morning. Collectively, this intention around acquainting, purifying, nourishing that water element up us, within us. Noticing the effects of Purnima, of the full moon, just bringing balance to this time. But notice for yourself what your intention might be this morning relating to this. Take a nice full breath here, and with the exhale, let the hands find their way down towards the lap. And let's actually start bringing the fingers into a mudra, yoni mudra. Yoni actually means the area of the uterus, the genitals, the female genitals. Notice this opening, bring it to the space, whether we're man or woman, bring it to the space around the area of the pelvis. Thumb together, first finger together. Feel that openness and let your attention be directed down to the space of the pelvis, this area of Swadhisthana chakra, the second chakra, the water element, apas. This mudra and the awareness coming to the fullness of Shakti, the fullness of the manifested creative energy that's here now at this time. May she be flowing and in harmony. May this water be cool and calm. May she bring great procreation, creativity in all forms, in all manifestations that are called forth in our lives. May this water also be a great healing force, as she's called to be within our systems. And may the tide of the full moon, Purnima, may it bring a full tide, a full fruition to all that yearns to be in manifestation in each of our lives. With harmony, with grace, with the full power of Shakti. And take 3 full breaths down into the pelvic floor. As you inhale, feel that you're inhaling all the way below the lungs into the abdomen, all the way down to that pelvic floor, releasing. And as you exhale, soften and release it all the way from the seat, from that pelvic floor, right up through abdomen and chest. And do that 2 more times, inhaling in the inhale, reaching deep all the way down. Feel the pelvic floor soften and release. Exhaling and relaxing. 1 more time. Let the exhale come from the mouth and really soften and release everything. And even take a moment now as breath naturalizes to visualize water. Gentle, flowing, glowing, clean waters. And visualize that as though it's seated at the area of the pelvis. Crystalline water. One more breath here. And then with the exhale, you can soften the mudra and soften the visualization. We'll make our way into Pratyapana, especially opening in through this area of the pelvis, the hips, that whole space that can get murky and held. So from here, let's come up into a tabletop position. So let the knees come directly under the hips. Let the wrists find their way under the shoulders. Find your way in a table here and just play a little bit in through spine to notice, are you sinking or are you curving in through the back and through the spine? Find your relaxation in a table that is aligned. If you need to flip the toes underneath to feel more stability, you can do so. Then from here, feel the top of the head, right from the sacrum to the top of the head, one long line. Explore a little bit into the shoulders as well. Notice where holding might be happening. And then from here, let's come into a cat-cow. Let's come into Marjariyasana, this cat movement. So as you inhale, drop the belly down, let the head look up. And as you exhale, curl into yourself. Roll into yourself. Head, chin finds its way into the chest. Inhaling, expanding, opening, looking up. Exhale, softening, rounding. And exaggerate this movement. Really pull the central area of the spine all the way up towards the ceiling. Inhale, let the inhale reach deep, let it find its way into the pelvic floor, and exhale. And you might try this cleansing, releasing breath, inhaling through nose and exhaling from mouth. Finding your own rhythm here now. Continue to move in this way. Really try to feel all the way in that pelvic girdle, the space around the hips, right down to the pelvic floor, that you're allowing there to be movement. Let the movement not just be isolated in the central spine, the thoracic spine, but get all the way down into the sacrum and the lumbar spine. Feel as though the breath enters there also. And 3 more times in this way. When you finish the 3rd time, just come to that neutral spine again. Find yourself here, and you might rock or adjust in one way or another, and then just stabilize here. Notice. The yoga is found not in the movement, but in every moment. It's found in the awareness of what is, of uniting. Yoga, to yoke, to unite with this very moment. So the hatha yoga, the movement in the body, it really becomes yoga when we bring together movement with awareness, action and awareness paired together. So take those pauses, let yourself feel truly. And then from here, let's continue to move in through hips and pelvis. So with the next inhale, feel yourself shifting the weight onto the left knee, and inhale, draw that right leg up. So opening up and through. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, come to the other side. So stabilize onto that right, draw the leg up, and drop it down. And let's seesaw, but try to stay in that center line, not leaning to the side. So stay in the center, drawing leg up and dropping it down. You can try to point or flex the toes of the lifted leg here. This can help with this movement. And if anyone needs to, you can come up onto the fists if that helps. If there's any tension in through the wrists. And you can choose here, either keeping the head looking down towards the floor or let yourself slightly open towards the opening side, looking gently over onto the floor of that side. Continue to pair breath here. An inhale as you open and an exhale as you come to the center. Let's find 2 more times on either side. Then dropping the knee down. Let's relax back for a second, seated back into Vajrasana or into any comfortable seated position. Close the eyes just to release the wrists, and you can even flip the wrists onto the thighs. So you come onto the backs of the hands or onto the sides of the body and relax the elbows down. Or if that's not working for you, just clasp the fingers together and extend the arms out in front. And notice that flow, the welcoming flow in through the space of the hips. This pratyapana, the warming not only physically, but also the warming of our awareness. Feeling up us, the water energy flowing. And let's come back into the tabletop position. We'll continue a little bit more here. So from here, let's extend that right leg out behind us. So with an inhale, extension. And then continue by bringing it to the side. And then again back. So inhale here. Exhale through side. And continue in this way. Inhale. Point the toe. Exhale. Draw the toe. Everyone's got it. So inhaling, pointing the toe and extending back. Exhale as you bring the leg to the side and you draw the toe towards the hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale towards the side. Feel that welcoming opening into the pelvic floor, into the space of the hip, into the whole area around the lower abdomen and the sacrum. Welcoming that water energy to be flowing this morning. One more time on this side. Inhale. And an exhale through the side. And then gently dropping the knee. Then let's come to the other side. Find your stability here. And then inhaling, draw the toes back, point through those left toes. And with the exhale, take the foot off to the side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And try as much as possible here to not shift all of your weight towards the right. So try to keep the knee in center. And if you need to flip those toes under, you can always do so. Three more times on this side. with the next exhale, come to roll the knee back under. And then from here, coming back to that tabletop position and create small circles. So now circle in through knees, through ankles, one direction, and then the other direction. And then slide the hands forward and let's draw all the way back into downward dog, into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Drop the feet so they're coming hip width distance and try to take the sits bones up towards the sky. So if you need to bend the knees to do so, you can do that. And from here, find just a little bit of walking it out. Point the toes slightly towards each other, then point them out. Feel how this is expanding and bringing room in through the space of the pelvis. So walking toes away, duck-footed, and then pigeon-toed. Continue to try this movement, exploring. Continue to find deep and full breaths down towards the pelvic floor to really help the breath release as movement also brings this opening, this expanding. A couple more times as we walk it out in this way. Last time, and then bring the feet into a neutral position, so bring them directly in alignment with the hips. Stay there for a moment. And then let's gently bring this undulation. So bend the knees and then rise up. Drop the heels. Bend the knees so you're coming up onto the toes. Then drop the heels and lift the toes. You're going to feel some movement all the way along the backs of the legs, but also into the space of the pelvic floor, drawing up, moving through. And exaggerate the movement now. Deepen into the knees, draw back towards the heels. And now pair breath. Exhale as you deepen into knees. Inhale as you rise up and lift toes. Last 3 times. And then with the next exhale, drop your knees down. And again, let's draw back to Vajrasana. Sit back, reside there for a few breaths and notice. Just rest there for a moment or two. Keep the eyes closed. Feel what's here, especially in through that space of the pelvis and the hips. And then let's welcome some of our asanas for this morning. Some of the various postures, especially again focusing on this opening of Swadhisthana chakra and also the focus of Agya chakra. So we'll start firstly, you can plant the hands and start to come up onto the toes and then widen out through the knees, making our way into Malasana, making our way into the squat pose. So bringing the ankles under the knees and drawing the pelvis forward. If you need to use a pillow or you want to use a bolster under the buttocks, you can do so. Even using a block here can contribute to helping to sit down and through working with this position. So use what need be, and then take the outsides of the elbows to the insides of the knees and draw the shoulders back. So finding your positioning here. If you want to stay high, you can also do so. So staying high in and through, even bringing the arms out to the sides, or you can still bring them to heart as you bring the knees over top of the ankles, opening and feeling that opening in through the space of the pelvis. And then from here, find your landed point, find your place of stillness. Maybe walk it out a little bit through shoulders, through the ankles. Can also help if you're not able to get the backs of the heels onto the floor to roll your mat underneath the heels. And then once you find your place of stillness, let the awareness be settled at that opening that's felt naturally from this geometry and through the space of the pelvic floor, the space of the hips. Consciously rest there. Don't attempt to push or effort or make something happen, but notice the way in which the geometry of the asana, the posture, invites the awareness to ruminate, to inquire, to stay there, to see what's revealed, purified, opened at that level. Notice if the shoulders are wanting to come forward. Draw them back and through, let the heart lead. Let's find 5 more breaths here. If for anyone this is too much, then of course gently come out of the physical posture and just rest for a moment or two in awareness here. One more full breath here. And then with the exhale, feel like you exhale long and full from the pelvic floor. Drop the hands down. Let's just create a little bit of swaying in and through, even widening the feet out here. Let that sway occur. And if you can come into a further extension, you can even extend through the heel on one side, then allow that extension on the other side. Really feeling the opening in through the hips. Look towards the opening foot and leg. And then gently come back towards the center line. Walk the feet back towards each other. And then let's gently draw up, bringing the feet so they're parallel. And then with an exhale, drop the hips down. And do this a couple times. Inhale, let the hips come up. Exhale, dropping down. 3 more times here. And we're going to come all the way up. So let yourself roll all the way up and through. We'll actually prepare to make our way into Kakasana or Bakasana, which is this crow pose. So we're going to make our way back down to squatted, but let me show you how we do this. So from a side angle, we're going to bring the feet to more like a 35 to 45 degree angle. We're planting the hands down onto the floor, and that middle finger is pointing forward. All the fingers are spread out. And from here, I'd really like to invite you to use your bolster or pillow for the forehead, in case anyone's bopping forward. From here, we gently start to bring the upper arm, the outside of the upper arm, to the shin. And from here, coming up onto the toes and then slowly shifting the weight. And the gaze looks forward. So the gaze is really looking forward towards the front of the mat as we shift the weight and lift the toes. If you need to position the pillow to go slightly more forward, you can do so. This is a powerful asana for Agya Chakra, for the third eye, for our focus. So let's try this together. Again, you're in standing. Feet are about as wide as the mat. Then take the feet to around a 30 to 45 degree angle. And then start to bend the knees. Keep the buttocks high. Spread the fingers out wide. And bring that outside of the arm to the shin. And now start to shift the weight coming up onto the toes. Begin to shift the weight forward and look up and forward. And now take the toes towards each other. So you're going to point them towards each other. Continue to gaze forward. Find a place of stability here and focus. Drishti. This focus from Agya Chakra, from the third eye. Pointed, insightful. If you're able to lift one foot and then the other, you can also do this. Or even if you want to start with the head down, gently moving. Let's find a couple more breaths here, just playing in it. So even if you're coming in and then going out, that's absolutely okay. Just exploring this morning. Then gently lowering back down. And from here, let's relax the backs of the wrists. So drop the wrists down onto the floor. You can stay in a squatted position. And then gently pulse the hands from side to side. Releasing the wrists. Relaxing out through the wrists. And notice that focus of the mind here. One pointed focus that occurs. This is so powerful during this time. Sometimes during Purnima when the mind is moving, shifting. And then from here, let's bring the feet closer together. Take the hands out in front. Draw the legs back and come back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come back into downward dog. Shake the head out slightly. Release in through jaw and neck. We'll make our way into Uttana Prishtanasana. This lizard pose. So look up towards the hands and take the left foot forward. So step it, even if you need 2 steps. 1, 2. So you're in this long lunge. Then take the left hand, bring it to the inside of the left foot. Draw that left foot out towards the side of the mat. So walk it out. Then drop the right knee down onto the floor and flip the toes out. If you need to fold your mat here to support that right knee, you can always do so, or to use a pillow. And then from here, the left knee is over the ankle. But if for some reason already you're noticing that you're twisted or it's difficult to stay in this position, you can always use a block to come a little bit higher. If you're able to go lower, we can come down onto the forearms, but notice that you shouldn't be moving from the shoulders. So let the movement happen while keeping the spine straight and long. Feel that space between the shoulder blades softening down, so the heart still softens down towards the floor, and that left knee stays over the ankle. And then create one long line from the right big toe up through the leg, the spine, to the top of the head. For many of us, it'll be more comfortable to stay here on the hands, roll the shoulders back, and feel that length through the top of the head. And let the breath enter into the space of the pelvis. Feel that entire area welcomed, welcoming prana, welcoming a flash of this moment, bringing balance and harmony to that energy of Swadhisthana, letting apas, letting the water energy flow with more freedom. Let's find 3 more breaths here. But if for anyone this is feeling a little too intense, just settle back into any comfortable seated position and maintain the internal awareness upon that area of Swadhisthana, this band around the pelvis. The inner alignment, the inner awareness is more important than the external alignment of the physical posture. It's the inner posturing that we're looking for. One more breath here, and then with the exhale, flip those right toes under. Let's draw up and take that left hand to the outside of the left toes. Walk it towards the center, and we've done this before. Extend in through the left knee. You can even come up onto the fingertips. Just relax here. Feel the top of the head long, like it's being drawn from the hips. Feel that opening that's occurring here. And then plant the hands back down. Gently bend that left knee and draw back into downward dog. And if you want to walk it out a little bit, you can. Feel especially that space of the left hip expanded, innervated by prana, woken up, flowing. We're bringing balance to the hatha, to left and right sides. Stepping outside of the embodied feeling of duality. So often we live more through one side or the other. So as we work at these asymmetrical poses, we can feel more in the center line. Look up towards the hands. Step that right foot forward now. And again, if you need 2 steps, do so. And then take the right hand and bring it to the inside. Right foot steps out towards the edge of the mat. Drop the left knee down, flip the toes out. And again, if you need to fold your mat or bring a pillow under that left knee, then do so. Really try to orient that right knee over the ankle and adjust in one way or another so you can allow the sole of the right foot to be stabilized. And then from here, rock slightly one side to the other until eventually you find that seated place for the pelvis, drawing down towards the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Let the space between the shoulder blades feel as though it draws forward into the heart, so there's not a rounding, a curvature into the shoulders. And then one long line from the tip of the left big toe along the leg through the spine to the top of the head. And if you feel that you're invited to go a little bit deeper, drop down onto the forearms and continue to allow this length to be here. But notice if the right knee tries to sink to one side or another. Instead, keep it directly over top of the right ankle. Finding breath here. For many of us, staying up onto the hands or bringing blocks. We're using a pillow here. And even in the spaces where we might notice a visceral edge, especially if we've been quite seated in some of these days recently, you might feel in through the pelvis, in through the shoulders, a bit of stagnancy. Consciously bring breath and relaxation to those areas. Two more full breaths here. And after that next exhale, flip those left toes under and then rise up. And again, take the right hand to the outside of the right foot and find a comfortable position here, coming up onto the fingertips where you can extend both hips pointing forward and relax. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. Allow there to be big and full breaths.
And then plant the hands down. Bend that right knee and sink back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, into downward dog. And walk it out slightly from side to side, even looking through the spaces of the armpits to really open and release. And through shoulders, hips. And then gently walk the feet forward. So bending the knees, let the feet start to meet towards the hands. And let's hang there just for a moment or two, even clasping the hands at the lower back and then letting them lengthen and release over top of the shoulders. Any shoulder tension from some of our warming in these asanas. Continue to feel the opening that's been occurring in through the area of the pelvis. And then gently drop the hands down, bend the knees. And with the next inhale, let's roll all the way up. Enjoy the roll. Enjoy this movement as you expand and open. Find your way all the way up into standing. And relax there for a moment or two. Standing in Tadasana, standing in our mountain pose. Feel that welcoming to standing. And then from here, let's come into a balancing pose that is excellent also for focusing the mind, for activating Untitled Chapter. And it's similar to what we just did, in fact. So come up to the front of the mat if you're not already there. Feel the feet planted directly under the hips. And let's take the right leg back just about 2.5 feet. Bring the right heel in alignment with the left, and let those right toes just be at basically a 25 to 30 degree angle. Some of you, if it feels more comfortable, can come directly forward, but this is a little more stable. Again, heel to heel is in alignment, and just this short stance for today. Then from here, take both hips and point them towards the left toes. So both hips are pointing directly forward. And then let's see if we can bring the hands so we come to clasp the elbows at the back body. With an inhale, look up towards the sky. And with an exhale, start to extend. Keep the chin lifted so you're really extending forward with a flat back and a length. And then eventually start to come so the torso is parallel with the floor and you look down towards the left big toe, but don't curl through the shoulders. Keep that length and extension up past the left toe. Continue to keep that right hip tucked forward so it's drawing forward. Left hip is driving back. Both hips drawing forward towards the front of the mat. And find a drishti. Find your focal point. Continue to gaze down towards that left big toe. You might play here and see what happens if you try to close the eyes. Continuing to maintain your balance. You can almost feel like you're squeezing in between the upper thighs, squeezing a ball. Finding that inner sense of balance and stability. This is so powerful during the time of Purnima when the energy is so full. Maintaining our balance, our equilibrium in the midst of it is a powerful capacity. Let's find 3 more breaths here. And then with the next exhale, release the hands. You can drop them down onto the floor on either side of that left foot. And then bend the left knee ever so slightly and start to roll yourself up. So find your way all the way up and then step that right foot forward to meet the left and just rest there again. in this standing position, even rolling the shoulders open and back, finding your stability here. And noticing that one pointedness. This focus, clarity, insight. Let's bring balance here. So now feel yourself planted down through that right foot and take the left foot back, those 2.5 feet back. Heel to heel in alignment and those left toes around a 25 to 30 degree angle. Take both hips and point them forward. Notice if you're curving through the lower back, let it soften slightly down. And from here, let's clasp the elbows, but come into the awkward way. So you've probably come into a comfortable way on the other side. Flip the grip. From here, inhale, look up slightly. And with the exhale, start to pour forward. Let the chin stay lifted. Lengthen. Continue to create that length all the way from the sacrum to the top of the head. Now let the gaze look down towards that right toe and continue to keep both hips pointed forward. So notice how that left hip wants to draw back. Instead, draw it forward and draw the right hip back, integrating it into the hip. This is an excellent asana, Parshvottanasana, for bringing that concentration of the mind, the focus, but also reintegrating the hips, finding our balance in through pelvic floor, through the space of the hips. And again, let the drishti, let the focal point, the gaze, be consistent. And if you want to explore closing the eyes, you can do so. Finding 3 more breaths here. And then with the next exhale, let the hands drop down onto either side of the right foot now and bend that right knee ever so slightly. Roll yourself up very gently. And then step that left foot up to meet the right. Come into a standing position, into your Tadasana, into the stability, stiram. Close the eyes and reside there. And notice the recalibration that's happening here. Through left and right sides, hatha, this marriage of the solar and the lunar, the right and the left. Feel more of a clear sense of being in the center point, a feeling that the body is communicating as one. Bring your attention to the center of the forehead, Agya chakra, the third eye. That clarity of the higher mind. It's said in the Vedic tradition that each one of us has direct access to buddhi, to the highest intellect, to macrocosmic intelligence. As the mind becomes more clear and pure, that insight, inspiration, higher mind becomes available. And then from here, let's enjoy a long stretch, inhaling all the way up towards the sky. And with an exhale, come to pour forward down towards the floor. And then gently, slowly relax the body onto the tummy. So come all the way down so you're in a front-lying relaxation. Bring the backs of the hands like pillows for the forehead and drop the forehead down, really relaxing, almost like in a front-lying shavasana, front-lying relaxation. And then for our last asana today, we're going to come into Makarasana. Makara is this animal that's known in the Vedic tradition to live in the underwaters. In many ways, this is a powerful asana that removes the murky kind of emotional holdings that can be held, especially in the water element and our being in Swadhisthana chakra, to remove some of that murky darkness, negativity, the unseen, the shadows.
So from here, take the toes so they come right to the edge of the mat. So feel the edge of your mat here. And then flip the feet so you're coming onto the insides, the instep. And then adjust the hips. So toes are pointing out towards the outsides. And then from here, draw the elbows so they're coming a little bit in front of the shoulders, just slightly. And create this little pedestal for the chin. Drop the chin down and through so the gaze is slightly down. Cup around the face. And feel the hips for a moment and adjust feet, adjust the pelvis so you can really relax and feel that spreading out wide of the pelvis. If it feels better to extend the legs a little bit wider, you can do so to relax the knees. And if you need to use even eye pillows, can be good here under the knees or under the ankles. Just really release and adjust the legs, the lower limbs, the pelvis, so you can feel this opening into the space. And then relax the shoulders back and down. Soften the space around the buttocks, around the back of the pelvis, into the pelvic floor. If the eyes aren't already closed, allow them to close. And the inner looking, the inner sight, let it draw down towards the space of Swadhisthana chakra, towards the space of the hips, the pelvis, the genitals. Anchor your attention there. See the way in which the geometry, the asana, is revealing, opening, exposing. And just in the light of awareness, allow it to bring the harmony, to bring the natural swastha, the natural healthfulness that is our very birthright. Let's find 2 more full breaths here. And with the exhales, really releasing and softening the space around the pelvis, the hammock and through the pelvic floor. Really allow it to relax and release. And then with the next inhale, gently come back the way we entered. So drop the head down. Firstly, let it reside onto the backs of the hands, and then walk the feet so they come extended from the hips, and relax there. Feel that expansion, the welcoming, refreshing space of pelvis and hips. And then staying with the head in this position, just a couple last welcoming movements in through here. Inhale as you draw the right leg up, and then exhale as you let it drop down. And then inhale through left, and exhale as it lowers.
A few more times in this way. Inhaling, drawing up, exhale, lowering down. Really welcoming this balance in through the whole area of Swadhisthana. One more time on either side. And then relaxing there. And flop the heels and the feet back and forth, almost like you're window wiping. Just really relaxing hips and that whole space around the pelvic belt, the pelvic girdle. Relax the legs, and then with the inhale, drop the hands under the shoulders, and let's prop ourselves all the way up and find our way into a comfortable seated position. So find your way into a Sukhasana or any comfortable seated position that feels perfect for you in this moment. We'll conclude as we started this morning, bringing the hands into Yoni Mudra. So the forefingers together, the thumbs together, and placing them at the space of the pelvic floor, or at the space of the pubic bone, rather. And from here, we're going to do just a few rounds of Shitali Pranayama, as we learned one of the other days. So Shitali, if you remember, it's an inhale over the curled tongue and an exhale from the nose. So we'll take a little pause in between. And I want you to feel as you inhale that you're inhaling into the space, this keyhole in the hands. So feel like you inhale the prana, it swims with this fresh water energy into this area. And as you exhale, feel that that water energy filters out into every cell of the body, bringing coolness, calmness, the healing water energy. So let's begin here firstly just with 3 full breaths. So inhale in through the nose and exhale from mouth. Inhale from nose and exhale from mouth. And one more time, inhale fully and exhale completely. And then let's come to curl the tongue or to open and press the teeth together and inhale over tongue or teeth. Feel as though you're inhaling into the keyhole of the mudra, the hands. Hold the breath, feel the energy, the prana in the space of the pelvis, the hips. And then exhale from nose, and as you exhale, feel like you're exhaling out into every cell, every fiber of the body. That water energy spreading out everywhere. Inhale over the tongue or the teeth again. Hold the breath, feel it swimming in this area. Specifically, you can even visualize water. And then as you feel to exhale from nose, and as you exhale from the nose, feel that it spreads out into every part of the body. There's a spreading up, down. And then immediately allow the inhale to happen yet again over tongue or teeth. And we continue in this way.
Finding 3 last rounds of Shitali, of this cooling, calming pranayama. And when you finish the last round, allow the hands to relax in whatever position feels perfect. Allow the breath to relax. Keep the eyes closed and continue to feel the resonance from Shitali or Shikarin pranayama. Feel that cooling, calming, flow-like energy. It's an excellent pranayama for these healing, calming waters to be imbued not only physically but also psychologically. To be like water, flowing, malleable, flexible, pure. See through this clarity. It's also an excellent pranayama to increase our appetite, our fertility in life. So our capacity to have appetite, not just physically for food, but our appetite for all of life. And our fertility in and through all of life, the capacity to manifest, to bring ourselves into creation, to come with creativity to life. We'll conclude this morning, as always, with prayer, with our mantra. And then I invite you to really come down, lie down in Shavasana, support the body in one way or another. Find your stability there and allow all to integrate this morning on this beautiful energy of Purnima, the full moon. To really bask in the fullness that is here and to carry that into the rest of your day. So let's bring our hands to the heart, and you can repeat after me as we chant the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, a powerful mantra today and all days to really allow us to be steadfast, fearless, and even in the face of impermanence and changing times, to stay in the internal seat of trust and surrender and a deep knowing that all is essentially okay. All is in its perfect rhythm. So repeating after me. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mokshiyam Amritat Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Continuing to feel the reverberations, the echoes of this mantra. May it bring fearlessness to each of us. May it bring great peace of heart, a great sense of contentedness, even in the unknown. And today, on this day, may we have deep gratitude for Chandra, for the moon, for all of the power, and the great energy that it affords us. We so often focus on the activity, the sun, but actually collectively we're being invited into a time of rest, this calm quietude, the changing times, this nightfall in some ways. And so we welcome Chandra, we welcome the moon energy. And as we feel the echoes of the sadhana today, just noticing the way in which apas, this water energy, is flowing with more freedom in our being, both physically, but also emotionally, mentally. That flow of the healing waters. So inviting each one of you to find your way down into Shavasana, to find your way into relaxation pose, to truly integrate all from this morning's practice, from this morning's sadhana. Namaste to all, and we'll meet each other again either for meditation this evening at 8 p.m. or I will see you on Friday. Okay, blessings wherever you are in the world. Much love to everyone.